Here we are. You guys. I was like, I'm so happy to be here today with you guys. Like, and you don't even hear me. Like, this is what happens when we don't have Sydney. Okay. Sydney is traveling with little kiddos today. They got like a 6 hour ride. She's going to be popping in a little bit from time to time, but not on here live today. So I'm working without her. I'm a one woman show today and I'm not good at this. So bear with me. I do want to drop the link to the Sales Accelerator because we are running the founder's rate of $67 a month, which is ridiculously crazy. I don't even know what we're doing over there. It's a phenomenal program for you guys to hop into. So I'm going to drop that link there. Also, Sydney and I were talking today, and we're like, you know what? I think if anyone jumps into the accelerator and they pay in full, if they graduate to Sales Academy within 3 to 4 months, we'll take that $597 and we'll actually apply it to your Sales Academy investment. So that's really cool. Just want to throw that out for those that are kind of considering maybe just getting started in the accelerator, but at some point you'd want to graduate into the bigger program and get the full system and all the things. Just keep in mind, like, the Sales Accelerator, we are literally going to help you build your buyers list. You don't need to try to figure it out by yourself. We'll help you build your buyers list. We are going to help you work that buyers list, right? So figure out like, okay, I've got my first 100 people. In Sales Academy, we help you get to 1,000 because no one needs more, even 1,000 to hit $1 million. So in Sales Accelerator, we want to get you to your first 100. And then we show you how to work that 100, right? And then we help you just install the Power Hour, which we're going to talk about today. And then we just, you work that over and over, and we just cycle that, right? And when you join right now, it's only $67 a month. There's no contract, cancel anytime if you don't love it, which you will. And then we have 2 calls a month, one with me. We'll talk strategy, offer, messaging, positioning, sales, conversations, all those things. And then once a month, you'll go live in a Zoom with Sydney, and you guys will implement our absolute amazing proven sales campaigns that are going to help you guys generate sales with the current audience you have now on the spot on that call. We'll be doing those as well. There is a pay in full bonus for $597 for the year. And when you do that, we're going to give you a free ticket to our annual. Once a year, we do our Black Friday virtual annual intensive. And that is really where we focus on building your Black Friday offer, creating all the promotional content. So emails, posts around it. We'll give you our swipe and we'll tweak that. You'll automate that and set that up. And then you're going to have that when you leave so that you can just go enjoy the holidays. So we do that once a year. It's really, really good. Everyone loves that. So link is there if anyone wants to grab that. Okay. Today, I want to talk about the Power Hour strategy. I do have a doc I'm going to share with you at the end. It's kind of an example, or it has some different examples of how you could install the Power Hour strategy into your daily routine. And so there's some different examples in there. What I want to do is share with you guys first. I'll give that to you at the end, but I want to just kind of get you guys to tune in a little bit today because this is a big shift. What we're going to talk about today is going to really shift how you're operating day to day inside of your your day right now. I want to talk about turning leads into daily sales. We're focusing on the buyers list with a cycle of the Power Hour in just a few hours a day. Now, here's what I'm going to say. If you follow what we teach you, like the actual systems, and especially if you come in Sales Accelerator where we can actually help you make these systems your own and like give you coaching and feedback on what you're doing every day and on your messaging and positioning. If you really do this every day, you really can build $1 million career, $1 million sale, $1 million revenue or income in a few hours a day. So you have to do the work, right? But like I'm telling you, like literally, you do not need to work 8, 10, 12 plus hours a day to make $1 million. And maybe $1 million isn't your goal. Maybe that's not what you want to do. But no matter what your number is, I'm telling you, you can do it in a few hours a day when you're focused and productive on the right things. And then you just follow that consistently. And the beautiful thing about the Power Hour is it is a structure, but it's flexible. And also, like, I want us to be thinking, you don't need to do 1 million things a day, you guys, to generate sales. And I think that's one of the things that people think, oh, I have to have this in place. You can do a lot of things. 100%. You certainly can do a lot of things. You can try a lot of things. You can learn a lot of things for sure. But you don't have to. Sales is sales. You only have to do a few things every day to close the current audience that's sitting in front of you right now and to generate a good sale. Okay. So I really want to shift that mindset because a lot of people think I have to post more content. I should post more content every day. I think more than one piece a day, max of two, is overkill in this market right now. It's too much. People don't have the capacity to read 50 emails, 50 posts a day, or your thoughts all day long, right? Like we don't need to post a lot of content. And you do not need a lot of leads. You don't. If you have 300 leads right now, I could show you how to make money with it. I could show you how to make money with 300 people right now. You do not need to have millions or hundreds of thousands or even thousands of leads to literally make tens of thousands of dollars. Like you don't need it. And so I think that's really key and that's really important. And also let's talk about visibility and viral. Going viral, we were in 2025 in a market, an economic contraction and a trust recession. No one's going viral. Like Tony Robbins is not viral right now. Like viral is not, it doesn't put money in your bank. It doesn't pay your mortgage. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I have to be here and I have to be there and I got to put a post out that a million people comment on it. I got to have reels that everybody see. Really? Because I have clients doing multi-millions of dollars and we're not doing any of those things. I'm not doing any of those things. Okay. So I just want to really set the pace for that because here's what you do need. Okay. This is what you do need. Number one, you need a buyer's list. Okay. If you are someone scrambling on social media, trying to find leads, you're in a dying business. You're in a dying business because we're not in a market like where you can afford to do that. We're not in a market where you can afford to spend time chasing and scrolling and scrambling across social media, saying who could be a sale, where could I get a sale, how could I get a sale, what could I do today to get a sale? No one can afford to do that today in this market. You need to have a dedicated, curated list of humans that every single day you wake up, you know their name, you know their face, and you are communicating and building a relationship with that person and those lists of people, and you're building trust and you're getting them over the finish line. Does that make sense for everybody? So this isn't, let's scramble on all these platforms and try to find, I don't care what platform you're on, it doesn't make a difference. But it doesn't make sense and you can't afford to hope you find a sale somewhere on social media today. Hope that you send an email and somebody buys today. Hope is not a sales strategy and we've got to get out of that. You need to say, I know, like I know, like I know. When I do ABC, it produces XYZ. If I do this, this, and this, it produces this, this, and this. And you need to know that with certainty. So the first step, it's not the only step, but the first is a buyer's list. Pull in those hot leads, pull in those warmer leads, those more qualified leads, the people closest to the money. In Sales Academy, I always tell my clients, today when you wake up, the first thing I want you to say is, who has my money? Who's paying me today? And those are the people you should start your day with, right? And you always want to be curating a list of those people where when you look at them, you're looking at them with that in mind. Out of this list of people, who is closest to that? And getting them over the finish line. Not scrambling across social media, throwing out 50 random posts that you're just putting out for the sake of hoping somebody sees something and decides to reach out to you and say, hey, I want to give you thousands of dollars. That ain't happening today in this market. Like, that is not going to work today. You absolutely need to get after it. And by getting after it, it's being very intentional. It's being very strategic and very focused. That's what I mean when I say get after it. You don't have to hustle. You got to work hard and you got to be really smart with it. Very intentional, right? It starts with a buyer's list. Number two, you need to have a set of activities that move the money. You need a set of activities that move the money. I don't care about hearts and likes and opens and clicks and all of that. I want to know that you're doing certain activities that are going to pay the mortgage. It's going to put money in your bank account. and creation and sales pages and content craziness and creating all these things in advance and paying for ads and launching and doing all these things. They're great activities and they're not bad, but that's marketing. That is not a sales activity. That's marketing. And we want you focused, and you need to be focused on actual sales activities Monday through Friday. And that's what's going to move the money needle for you. Okay, so there's a difference in the marketing and the sales. I think I touched on that on day one, on session one, right? Like, I wanted to be really, really clear. Like, in our programs, the only thing we do with you guys is help you make money. It's not about creating content. It's not about setting up funnels. It's not about automations. It's not about Facebook ads. It's not about marketing. It's not about what platforms. None of that matters. Sales is sales. We need to build relationships with a list of humans that you think are going to be a good fit for your program. And we're going to move them and convert them. They're going to pay you. Like, that's what we're doing Monday through Friday, right? So when you wake up in the morning, you need to know what those activities are. Remember on day one, session one, I said, in 2024, there was a study that said 97% of entrepreneurs spend an average of 20 to 25 hours a week thinking. I mean, how much time is that wasted? How much money have we lost? Like, how unproductive is that? That's a part-time job. And we spend that much time thinking, right? Like, what should I do today? Should I post 5 pieces or 1? Should it be on LinkedIn or Facebook? Should I do reels? Somebody said I should do reels. I don't know. Someone said long form versus short form. Someone said I should email once a day. Others said 5. Should I pitch or not to pitch? Should it be a low ticket? Should it be a high ticket? Right? There's all this thinking about what you should do. Listen, time is money and money loves speed. Write it down. Time is money and money loves speed. You've got to move with the right actions, right? You've got to wake up every day and know, I need to do these 3 or 4 things. And this is what gets my buyers over the finish line and new dollars in my bank, right? New money in the bank. That's all you need to be doing. You don't need to worry about this trend and that trend and this billionaire said I should run ads to this webinar. Understanding what goes behind a company like that is really important, right? They have a lot of money. They have a huge team. They've got their message dialed in. They make millions of dollars. Like, if you're not doing those things, running ads, like, why? Why are we doing that, right? It's understanding what things are going to produce the result for you and what things are very busy. It's very easy to love the busy stuff, right? Because your brain is like, oh, you're so busy doing all of this stuff and it's so fun and creative. And then when you pull your head up, you're like, damn, another day of no new sales, another day of no new money, right? So we need to make sure we know exactly those activities. There's no guessing, there's no thinking. We want to get rid of that time, right? It's wasteful. Okay, third thing that we need to do, which we're going to cover today, is we've got to focus on structuring our blocks of time where we are hyper-focused, dialed in and doubled down on only needle movers. We are only doing productive sales activities, but we're doing it in cycles. So we're time blocking, right? This is the power hour strategy. So what we're going to talk about today. This is really, guys, the fire under the strategy and the sales activities that we teach you. Because without this structure, you're just chaos. And I'm going to promise you, you're not scaling chaotic. You cannot scale chaos. You have to have simplicity. You have to have structure. It's also what gives you freedom. Some of you work 10 hours a day and make no money, right? I work a few hours a day and make millions. It's one of those things where it's like, it's your time. It's how are you spending your time? What are you doing during that time, right? So that's what we're going to get into today. And that is called the power hour. The other thing I want to do today is if you guys have questions, I want you to go ahead and drop them in the chat as we go through this, and I'm going to answer those here on this call. Okay, I wanted to just create a little bit of time since our last session, like it's live like this. We can absolutely talk in audio DMs and stuff like that, for anyone that wants to chat after the fact, but you're here live. If you have questions going through your mind as I go through this, feel free to drop those in the chat and I will answer them, okay? Okay, so what is the power hour? This is going to be really, really critical, guys. Like, You're going to want to run these cycles that we're going to show you today. You're going to want to run these power hour blocks. You're going to want to install this in your business. The activities, you can do them, but you can run ragged doing them. We need them structured where it's a predictable, repeatable thing that you can do every day. Okay, so power hour, guys, is not about hustling. It's not about doing more. It's really a structured block of time. And this time could be 60 minutes. It could be 180 minutes. It can also just be 30 minutes, right? So when I was on welfare, single mom, living on food stamps, very limited time with tots running around, one of the things that I really had to learn how to do if I wanted to not be broke was I really had to learn how I used the time that I had. And, for those of you that had kids or have kids, you understand that you have like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, maybe 30 minutes over here, right? And it's not just like how much time you're putting in, it's what are you doing during that time, right? And so what I want you guys thinking about is your lifestyle. I want you to think about the hours you have in a day to dedicate to making money. How many hours in a day do you have to dedicate to make money? For some of you, it's 2 hours a day. I have clients in my programs that have full-time jobs and they are full-time single moms. So their time in the business has to be dialed in because they only have this much time and it's spread out throughout the day, and they have to be very intentional with what they do with that time. Some of you guys have 8 hours. So what I want you to do is think about how many hours in a given day, Monday through Friday, do I have to put towards making money? And if you guys want to share that in the chat, I'd love to know where you're at with that. I think it changes, right? When I was single with kids, it was like, oh my God, I got like 2 hours a day and I had to spread that out all day. And as I made more money and I was able to hire a team and my kids got a little more independent and older, I was able to put in, 4 hours a day or 2 dedicated straight hours, right? Back to back. If you guys want to share where you're at with like, how many hours do you have Monday through Friday to really put toward making money, not towards your business, but towards making money, right? Doing those direct sales activities. The other thing that I want you guys to think about is part of what we want you to do in this block of time is focus on your buyers list. I don't want you focusing on social media. I don't want you focusing on creating content. I don't want you focused on creating funnels, setting up automation, learning new technology, doing admin stuff. Those are not the things I want you to do. We're not going to set up a launch and pages and no. I want you thinking my buyers list. I'm working my humans. And I'm moving people over the finish line. So let's talk about some things that you might do. And like I said, I have a doc for you guys to give you some examples of what your power hours could look like in your business and how you could install that. But let's just talk about what goes into it, right? What kinds of things are you doing? I'm going to give you guys a list. It's going to be good. And also, when I'm done giving you the list, I'll paste it here in the chat for you. Okay, so what goes into it? Number one, the first thing is reviewing and updating your buyers list. So you want to be able to filter the buyers list, right? What we teach our clients, when you guys are working your leads, your buyers list, you're going to have people in hot, warm, or cold. We talked about that in session 1, right? You're going to have leads that are hot, warm, and cold. And even your hottest leads, there's going to be some hotter than others. Does that make sense? For some of you, your hot leads are your cold leads. Does that make sense? You might be like, I'm really cold. Okay, so your coldest is who is the hottest of your coldest. You have to always be thinking, who's closest to the money? Who's got my money today? If I look at my leads, who would be closest to paying me today? Every single day, you've got to reset that list and think about that and ask yourself that question before you start taking action and doing stuff. It's so easy to waste time, right? And you lose sales when you do that. So when you open up your buyers list, I want you to review and update the buyers list because it's going to change every day. You're going to add new people. You're going to remove people. Some people are going to buy. Like you're going to be moving and filtering that list all the time, every day, all day, right? And so every day when you start your day, I want a fresh start. I'm going to filter that buyers list and I'm going to ask myself, who is the hottest today? And who is closest to paying me money today? And again, it could be a cold lead as your hottest, but you have to start somewhere, guys, right? You have to start somewhere. And those cold leads have to be moved. If you have cold leads, you got to move them to the hot bucket. And the way to do that is you got to work those leads. We got to start doing stuff with them, right? To move them, or you're always going to have a cold list and you're never going to have hot leads. So you have to start somewhere, okay? The second thing is always prioritizing the hot leads first and asking yourself, what did I do with this person last? And what do I need to do with them next? So it's asking yourself, what do I know about this lead? Okay. One of the things that we teach in our programs is like, if you look at a lead and you're like, I don't know who that is a really cold lead. They're not paying you money today. Right? But you have to start somewhere and you have to ask yourself, you have leads that have booked a call with you. You've had leads that registered for something. You have people that signed up on your email list. You have people that joined your Facebook group and answered member questions. You have people that filled out an application or applied for something. Those people, you should go say, okay, what do I know about this person? What did I do with them last? And now what do I need to do with them next? Every day, you reset and do that every day. We call that moving your leads in our programs. So when I say like move your leads, this is what I'm talking about. What did I do last? What do I know about them? What did I do last? And what do I need to do next? You're very intentional, you guys, with the things that you do with each one of those leads, because they're all at a different part of your buy-in cycle. Does that make sense? You have some people that are really excited and they want to know more about your programs. And you have some that are like, hi, I just got here today. I'm excited about, I don't know, your workshop, but like, I don't know you. Right? So you have people at different areas of the buy-in cycle. And here's the key to closing sales faster than anything else that's working in this market right now is understanding what to say to a lead based on where they are in your buyer cycle. You're not saying the same thing to every person on your buyers list. You have people at different parts of your buyer cycle, and you need to know, what do I say to that person that's going to move them to the next stage of my buyer cycle? Get them closer to buy-in, closer to a decision. What do I say to that person? What do I need to say? And in this market, you got to be very intentional and careful with what you say, because it's a different buy-in market, right? You can't just say, hey, do you want to buy my program? Hey, thanks for joining my workshop. Do you want to buy my program? You cannot say that in this market. So you have to know what to say at different parts of the funnel based on where are they in the buyer cycle. Does that make sense to everybody for that step? Okay, the next one is those personalized touch points. What I want you guys to think about when you think about your buyers list, I don't want you guys thinking mass emails, bulk DMs, mass, like you're copy pasting, regurgitating the same message to every person. The reason that we have the buyers list is so that you can personalize and go deep with each of your leads, right? Like if you didn't have a buyers list, then I would say go bulk email everyone the same message, go post the same message to everybody and hope somebody buys. The whole point of the buyers list, you can go deep and personal because it's not a massive audience. It's a curated small list of people who are going to pay you. And so you have the space to go deep and be very personalized and intentional with each one of those leads. Does that make sense? So I would not say the same thing to Georgia that I might say to Nancy, or the same thing to Susie that I might say to Nancy, or, the same thing. If I'm not that, each of you are your own person on my list. So I'm going to speak to you differently. We're going to talk about different things. You're going to be at a different part of the buyer process, and that changes everything. There's all these different nuances. Does it make sense? So you guys can follow 2020 dated strategy that doesn't work today, and you can bulk email and bulk post and blast out pitches and that all say the same thing to everybody and sit back and cross fingers, hope that somebody buys. It's just not a working strategy. It hasn't worked for a couple of years now, and it's certainly not going to work the rest of this year. So we want to build a buyers list, focus on your hottest leads, and then personalize what you say to them. So if I'm like, oh, okay, Georgia, let's see, what did we do last with Georgia? What do we know about Georgia? What should we do next? Personalize what you say. Bring in some voice notes and voice memos, right? Send a text, maybe a personalized email that's actually to Georgia. It's one direct email. It's not to anybody else. Personalize it. Use what they've shared with you to really guide and move the conversation. So it is about them and it's not just, hey, copy paste, right? That's what you need to do with the buyers list. But you can't, can anybody do that with all of your social media following across the board and every person on your email? No. You've got to put them on a buyers list so you can personalize. That's where you're getting sales in this market. In this market, it's relational. You have to build the relationship, you have to build trust, and you do it through personalizing your contact and your messaging. If somebody feels like you're personalizing it for them and you're having a conversation with them, not your whole social media platform, totally different ballgame. And yes, you do have to do that in this market, right? I have millionaires running ads, and guess what they're doing? They're hiring sellers to work each individual lead. That's what my millionaires are doing. Yes, you do have to do this, right? It's just the market. So we want to make sure you guys are doing that. Okay. The next thing that you would do on a power hour strategy, 20, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever, is re-engage your past leads. People that were actually doing something. Remember, we talked about the 9 micro buy-in behaviors, right? Well, you want to look at past people that were engaging that you can re-engage. You want to open up those loops, pull up those past combos, go ahead and connect with those consults or conversations that ghosted. We talked about this a lot yesterday. We actually talked about this a lot this whole session or the whole 3 sessions, because I think a lot of people overlook past people. And it's always a game of, I need the next lead. I need more leads. When the reality is you're not working the ones you have, right? You're not maximizing and monetizing as much as you can with the ones you have. You can have $1 million business with 300 to 500 leads if you work them right, right? You don't need a lot of leads. You don't need a lot of sales to hit your sales goals. You don't need to have a lot of anything. You need to just be strategic with how you're speaking to the people on your buyers list, right? So part of where we lose a lot of money in sales is making assumptions that you're making decisions for your audience. Oh, if they were interested, they would have bought. That's not really your decision to make. Or, well, they said yes verbally and then they ghosted me, so they're not interested. They didn't say that, and that's really not your decision to make. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Where sometimes it's really easy to just kind of make an assumption based on someone's actions, but they didn't say that, but you're making that assumption. It's not really our job. I always say in sales, they have a responsibility and you have one, and knowing yours will make or break your sales. You need to know what your responsibility is in the sales process, and then mind your business with the rest, right? Like, let other people tell you yes or no, right? Let other people tell you. And so you want to go back to past people that have taken a micro action. Maybe they booked a call and then didn't show, or maybe they got on the call, said yes, and then ghosted you. Maybe you had a great conversation, you followed up, and then they never answered you, and you're like, what is going on? What did I say? What did I do? Making those assumptions again, right? Maybe you were having a good convo and then all of a sudden the person stopped, right? And you're like, oh my God, they're not interested. Oh my God, I said something, and here we go with making assumptions. Maybe you have people that have clicked and opened or even gone to a sales page or an order page, but then they didn't follow through. And you're like, oh my gosh, like they don't want to buy, they're not interested, or they would have done it. And here we go with making assumptions again. I cannot tell you, you're losing tens of thousands of sales by doing that. You are losing so much money sitting right in front of you because you're making those assumptions. You need to learn how to properly follow up and hold the space and keep moving leads. And so that's one of the activities everybody should be doing, is the follow-up. Okay, you definitely want to be circling back. And remember, yesterday we said go back about 4 to 6 months. Go back about 4 to 6 months with all of these things, okay? All right. The other thing is setting up those next touch points. I have a rule of thumb with my clients. If you open up a lead on your buyers list, you pull them up, like say Susie, pull Susie up. I have her information. I'm tracking what I did last with her. I've got the data that she's told me, so I understand her, who she is, where she is, what she wants, what she needs, all the stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is a hot lead. Let me see what I want to look at what I did, what I need to do next. and you always want to create a follow-up task. So my rule when I'm working and coaching clients is you never close out a lead without a next step scheduled. Never ever close out a lead until you've scheduled your next action. We call it a touch point. And then schedule it so it's an actual task. Right? So it's like you're going to forget, you guys. When you're talking to a lot of leads, it's very easy to forget. What did we do last? What did we say? What did we talk about? What did they tell me? Wait a minute. Have you guys ever been like, wait, who was that lead? I remember they were such a good lead and I wanted to follow up and they told me to follow up in 2 months. And I know they were going to buy this program or join the thing. Oh my God, who was that? And you start fishing through, you're like, God, who was it? Wasting time. There should have been a follow-up task. And guess what else you need to do when you create that follow-up, that next touch point? What are you doing with that lead between now and that point? What are you doing with that lead? Because if you don't talk or communicate with that lead between now and your next touch point, they will forget all about you by the time you circle back around. Life is busy. They got a lot going on. We're not the star of the show, right? They have other things that are priority. So then you have to be thinking about, what could I be doing to make sure I stay front and center? Top of mind is what we call it, with this person. If they want me to reach out in 2 months, 3 weeks, how am I going to make sure I stay top of mind for them so that when they're ready to buy, it's with me? Do you know what a lot of people do? Oh, sure, I'll follow up in 3 months. You wipe that lead out, you forget about them, you're like, whatever. And where's my next lead? And then you move on in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 4 months later, you don't even remember that person. And they don't remember you either. So you just lost a sale. Right? And people can change their mind. We have people that'll say, yeah, let me know, follow up with me in 2 months, I might be ready. And then like the next day, they're like, I'm ready. The next week, they're ready. Because something, changed for them. But because you didn't stay in touch with them, they're going to buy from somebody else instead of you. That's why sometimes when you guys follow back up and you're like, hey, and they're like, yeah, I already invested in this and I can't do that right now. And you're like, oh, shoot, they were interested. You didn't stay in contact. Okay. Okay. So that's what you want to be doing. And then finally, every day you really want to look at login. Who has taken those 9 little micro actions we talked about, the little buy-in behavior, subtle things, right? I want you guys filtering that email every day. Has everybody done that today? Because it's the start of the day. Everyone should have filtered the email and said, who's opening, who's clicking, who's taking an action, who's opening multiple emails. We're supposed to do that every day. Same thing with your social media, right? Go through your social media. Who's doing these things? And who's watching your videos? Who's watching your stories? Right? Who's opted in? Who's doing these things, right? You want to make sure that you're kind of doing that. Yeah, Georgia, in terms of the one location, is there one location to do that? Can you tell me what you mean specifically? Like, you can come on and ask your question if you want.
Well, I've got a version of Go High Level, and I can't find where to look in one place to look it up. I see campaigns. I don't do campaigns. I do workflows.
Yeah.
And unless I literally go look at every individual person in my CRM, I don't know what they've done, and I can't tell actually what they've clicked and all that. Without going, I could go to the actual workflow and see some of it, but I mean, I've got tons of workflows. I've got 300 or 400 people in my CRM, and it's growing. And where do I go look for all this?
Yeah. So what we do, because we use Go High Level, I think what we found, because I had that same problem, I'm like, one by one, this is so crazy. So what we do is we use Smart Lists. I don't know if you're using those yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one, we use workflows. We do campaigns as well, because we kind of send those. So that has a section. Campaigns does have a section where you can actually pull that up and say, okay, how many, it'll show you your numbers at the bottom, which is really easy.
But I don't do those.
Yeah. But in workflows, you can't really do that. But what we've had to do is set up smart lists and then set up tags. So like when people do certain things, like in the workflow, when they do a certain thing, we want to say, hey, Go High Level, add this tag or add them to this smart list or do this thing that tells me And then what we can do is look at those stats, because they'll have a tag, so we can filter by a tag. I hate that you can't filter by like a statistic, right? Like, I'm like, why can't you filter by who unsubscribed today? Like, who opened? It's so bizarre because Go High Level is so phenomenal with all their features. I hope they come out with that. But in the meantime, we've had to do in the workflows, we've had to create like tags. And then with those tags, we're saying if someone gets tagged with this, put them in the smart list, right? So like we're segmented and we have a bunch of smart lists, but in those lists, we have people that have opened or clicked or whatever based on the tags from the workflow. And
How
then
do you how do you keep from having 1,000 tags then?
we have so many tags, but I actually think it's great. Like we have a lot of tags, but I like it because you can filter by all of those. So we can filter right down to someone who opened today's email. Like just by in that workflow saying, hey, when they take this action or do this thing, I want you to add this tag. And then we can have a smart list that says open session 1 of our workshop. Like we can literally, it's a lot of smart lists and it's a lot of tags. However, it allows you to filter down to the thing, right down to the thing, which is what we love. So that's just kind of a little bit of how we work Go High Level. I hope that someday, and I think if we all recommend to them, hello, you need this feature, I think they might be able to add it, right? I hope in the future they do.
Well, I worked at a university and we worked with different CRMs and we were able to do what they called advanced finds, which was basically those reports you're talking about. You look for this action and this action and this email and whatever, and we could filter it like that. But there's no reporting feature.
There's not. There's really not. And I feel like every other CRM has it, except Go High Level. And Go High Level is the most #1 right now, top performance CRM that has more features than any other CRM out there. And you don't have the one filter that's like, we need this, right? So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that if we bug them enough, maybe they'll come out with that. In the meantime, we have a lot of tags in the workflows, and then we are making lots of smart lists and having to narrow it down. And then, of course, sometimes we have to manually kind of go in for a few leads and kind of look, but that is our workaround right now. It's not the best, right? But it's doing the job for now.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you are so welcome. That's a really great question. Depending on what CRMs you guys are using, yeah, you definitely want to be able to get down to like who's opening, who's clicking, who's doing that multiple times versus just like I have these people on a list, right? Because you want to focus your time. Everyone on your list isn't your buyer, and everyone is not taking the same action. Someone who's clicking is harder than someone who's opening, right? So we want to be able to find a way to filter that in whatever CRM we've got. Okay, here's what we don't want to do, guys, in your power hour. I want to really remind you to put blindfolders on. We have to focus, okay? After you get your power hours done, you guys can do whatever you want. That's what I always say. Like my gift to myself is that when I get my power hour done, I get to do whatever I want. So that makes me really happy and empowers me. So if you need to attach, something good to like, I want to be rewarded for something, or I want to do something fun, attach it to like, I got to do these sales activities, but when I complete them, I get to do this thing, right? Whatever you want. So in your power hours, please don't engage randomly for visibility. So don't just engage. Like I know some people will go through their whatever platform you're on, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and you'll scroll, right? And then you'll just be like, okay, I'll heart this, like this, random comment here. Don't do that. It isn't going to work because you're not being consistent with it and there's no intention behind it. It isn't going to work. So let's not do random engaging just to try to get visible. Don't do posting and praying or spraying and praying. Don't do that. It doesn't work and it never works, right? We want to be very intentional. My rule of thumb and the way that I think about content, I'm a sales professional. I don't look at content for hearts and likes. I look at content for money. So if I put out a piece of content and it doesn't give me qualified conversations that generate new sales, then it's not even worth my time doing. Every piece of content I create, which is only like one a day, Sometimes I get, I have something to say and I might post more, but intentionally once a day. And when I do that, if it doesn't produce a high quality conversation that produces sales, then it was not worth my time. I don't post for the sake of, hey, I can check the box I posted today. I want you guys to be really intentional and ask yourself, is this a piece of content that's going to pull in my high level buyers who have an expensive problem and want to solve it and they have money to spend? Is it going to pull that person in? Are we speaking to that person right now? That is always the piece of content. Does that make sense? Because we talked about that like yesterday, and we talked about that on our session 1 about we are only speaking. So let me give you the reminder, because I know we need to always remind ourselves. Good for me too. We are only speaking and attracting high intent buyers who have an expensive problem and they want it solved and they have the money to spend to solve it. They're already looking. That is it. That's the only person we're talking to every day. So when you create a piece of content, when you go live, when you create a launch, when you are like, hey, I'm going to do a challenge, I'm going to do a workshop, whatever it is every single thing that you're saying speaking to that human being. Right? So do you see how we're being more intentional? Because if you're not pulling those people in through your audience, I promise you, posting and ghosting or spraying and praying or posting for the sake of it, it goes into the ether somewhere. It just goes into the ether. Nobody even sees it. You get nothing out of it. Right? We want you to be more intentional because we're only trying to speak to people with expensive problems and a whole lot of money to spend. Got it? Does that make sense? If they don't have that, what are we doing here? You're not going to make money off people with no money. So we got to speak to people who have money to spend, right? So your posts, your content should be extremely intentional. So let's not spend any time in the power hour spraying and praying or posting and ghosting for the sake of checking the box to say you did it. Can we all agree to that? Let's just not be those people that do that anymore. It just goes into the ether anyway, right? It doesn't even serve you. Okay. No scrolling. Or just checking on random leads with no direction. I want you to work the buyers list and be intentional. If you only talk to 5 people today, because that's the people that are the hottest on your list, if you only talk to 5 people and close 1 or 2 of those people, how awesome would that be today? Or you could go and scroll news feeds and randomly talk or message or whatever 500 people and have one person talk to you today and make no sales. And that is pretty much the reality for most entrepreneurs today. That's what they're doing. And so I don't want you guys to use your power hour to randomly scroll and be like, oh, let me just message this person. Let me message that. I want you to work those the buyers list and the leads that are on there. Okay. Okay. The last thing that I don't want you guys to do in your power hour, don't do things that feel productive. Okay. So they feel productive, but they don't move your leads. Right? It's very easy to be like, I think I need to create a page in order to do this, or I think I need to have that before I can do this. There is no before. You don't need anything before. Let me say this really quick. You don't need anything before you start doing these sales activities. Please, I sell offers that I've never even created yet, and I get people to I pre-sell them all the time. People will buy the offer and I haven't even created it yet. I will never create an offer that I am not being paid for. I will be paid before, then I will create it, as long as you have the idea. So at the end of the day, you don't need anything to start doing these sales activities. I hear it all the time. Well, I got to create a sales page first. I need to finish creating the modules. No one cares about the modules. You don't need that stuff to sell. We don't need that stuff to start talking to our humans. It's very easy to get into the busy work and tie in these busy things to the sales. Oh, I got to do this first, I got to do that first, and this first, I need that, I got to create, blah. It's very easy to start doing that and say, I need to do that before. You don't need to do anything to start talking to people today and adding them to your buyers list and working them like we've been talking about for 3 days. You don't need anything first. So if you're that person that's like, I feel like I need this and that to do that and to do that. No, you don't need anything. You need to start putting people on your buyers list that are showing you those micro buyer behaviors we talked about yesterday. Put those people on your buyers list and then work them. What do I know about this person? What did I do last? What do I need to do next? Go. Just hit go. Put it in a 20-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute block of time. Put a timer on if you have to. And don't stop. Everybody know Alex Hormozy? He's a good friend of mine. He tried to give me a position. I said no. But one of the things that he's always saying is, if you need to make money today, go set an alarm for 4 hours, sit down and speak to as many people and reach out to as many people as you can and sell your offer, sell your solution, and don't stop till that timer goes off. Don't even get up in the middle, just go. It's true. You have to focus your time and do the right things, and you need to be really productive and intentional with those things, okay? Okay. So let me share with you guys an example, but I do have a doc for you as well that I'm gonna kind of give to you guys. But I want to give you an example of like what could we be doing, right? Like in these blocks of time. So I think it looks a little different depending on what your niche is. So like Susie, you're a seller. We have all kinds of sellers in our program. Their schedules are different than, let's say, a CEO, coach or consultant, business owner. A business owner, CEO, consultant, that your day is probably going to look different than a seller. Okay. So kind of depending on where you're at, your power hour schedules and cycles might look a little bit different. But let's say that you are a coach or business owner, right? Coach, CEO, business owner. And let's say you're like, Anne, I've got 2 to 3 dedicated hours. Remember at the beginning of this, I said, pick your time. How many hours do you have a day to put towards making money? Well, let's say that you said, I've got 2 to 3 hours a day, Anne, and that's what I got to double down on making money in my business. Okay. So here's what you might want to do. You might want to have a 60-minute block where you are just working your hottest leads. You're sending audio DMs. You're sending follow-up messages. You are doing reactivations. You're upselling, reselling, downselling. You are putting those invitations out directly, right? Like our focus is get money in the bank, get the dollars in, get people to buy. You would want to start with a 16-minute session of one of those, right? You don't even want to mess around with anything else. You would want to be directly getting those invitations out so that when you start working your less harder leads throughout the day, you get replies from those people, right? So you would start your day right there. People want to start their day with, I have a new person join my Facebook group. Okay, but that person's not paying you today. Go to your hot leads. Like, it's really easy to do that because our mind wants to go to what feels comfortable, what feels easy and safe and busy. And we have to really work to not do that. Okay, you might want to do a 30-minute block after or sometime later where you're reviewing your buyers list and you're setting some new tasks or touch points for those people. That it should take you like 30 or so minutes. I mean, maybe a little longer in the beginning, but once you get going, you'll get it down, you'll get a rhythm. But you definitely want to be following up with those people, right? You want to kind of recycle and filter and start working those leads. And then maybe you want to do 30 minutes of going back and saying, okay, I sent out these direct invites and follow-ups and all these invitations earlier today. I'm getting replies, I'm getting responses. I'm going to spend 30 minutes following up with them, getting them over the finish line, collecting the credit card and moving forward, right? And then you want to have 30 minutes of some personal touch points. So maybe you want to reach out to 5 brand new leads. So here's where you might have someone who just got on your email list or joined your Facebook group. See how we do that the last of the day? That is not the hottest task of the day. But at the end of the day, we do want to say, hey, welcome to the community. Welcome to my world. Great to connect and start moving the conversation. Last of the day, right? Is that a good example? Some examples there. Okay, like if you are a seller, you might spend 30 or 60 minutes working your top hottest leads. So you're saying, okay, I've got this much time today and my KPIs are this, my metrics are this, my sales goals for the company are this, right? And I got to get those in first thing, like that's my focus today. And you're going to want to start with working your 5 or 10, 20 or 50, depending on how many leads you have, hottest leads. Like, what do we need? What do you need from us to get you through the finish line? Work those leads that are closest to that. They're right on the edge, but they need like a nudge, a push. They need something from you. Go find out what that is and give it to them. Get them over, get those sales through the door. Is so critical. Like I've been a seller. I'm also a CEO and I've had sellers. And at the end of the day, we are very driven on sales growth. So it is very much like, how many sales did we close? How many conversations are we having today? Who's the next to close? How many buyers in the pipeline? When do you think they're going to buy? It is very much a sales mind like that when you're in a seller position, right? Because that's your only goal is close sales. And so we have to always wake up and know we got combos happening today. We have sales coming through today, and we have new people coming through the pipeline. And it's just a recycle of that every day, right? You want to make sure that you have, 15 to 20 or so minutes to go through and update people and follow up with those past leads. Maybe some people close. You want to have a good, 20, 30, 15 minutes, something like that, where you're following up and you're closing those. And then you need a good 20 or so minutes to follow up with yesterday's conversations. You want to pick those back up and get those moving. A lot of times people just kind of forget about them and they move on, but I want you to go back and close those loops, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Do we have any questions about what we've talked about here today or this week so far that you guys would like me to answer directly while you have me right here? Do we have sales accelerator questions? I know it can be, you're probably getting a lot of offers in your emails. You're probably getting a lot of, you should do this, you should do that, this or that. You've probably invested and maybe it didn't work out, or maybe it wasn't what you thought it was, or whatever, right? I know that there's a lot of that going around and going on for everybody. And we really want to show you that like what we're doing is different than what's going on in the marketplace. We're not teaching you content. We're not teaching you marketing. We're not teaching you funnels and strategy. We are literally helping you work a list of people that are going to buy from you and pay you, right? So very sales driven. And so that's very new for a lot of people because a lot of you guys are used to investing in strategy and you got to learn how to do this and you got to set up this and you got to whatever. And we're kind of doing the opposite, right? So are there any questions that you guys have about either what we've covered over the 3 days? And then also any questions about the sales accelerator? You guys are free to unmute and like ask away about anything that's on your mind while you have me right here for a few more minutes. If you're not comfortable opening up, you can go in the chat. I'm happy with that too, whatever works for you. But I'm going to give the floor to you guys and just see if you have any questions for me. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to get the doc that I promised you and drop it in the chat here that has just an example of what a, power hour day could look like, some different examples and variations of that. Let me grab this for you guys. Yeah, and if you guys have questions about the buyers list, the daily actions,
I do
structure.
about the buyers list. I'm gonna play ignorant here because
Go for it. I love it.
I've kind of looked at this stuff before, and a lot of the stuff that the way I read the list that you gave us, I don't know how to see who has watched the stories or read the posts or the ones that are actually engaging, whether it's a subtle engagement or it's a full out engagement, got those. It's
Yes.
those that, I scroll through Facebook a lot or Instagram or whatever, but it doesn't tell you that I just looked at your post, even though I just looked through your whole profile. I mean, how do you know those people? I've looked for these people. I'm not finding these people. I don't understand how you see ghosts.
Yeah, I totally hear you. And not an ignorant question at all, because all platforms are sort of different, right? So we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. On Facebook, they have to interact with your stuff for you to see it, right? On LinkedIn, it shows you these people viewed your profile, these people viewed, right? So LinkedIn has different statistics, which is really cool. Facebook doesn't, right?
That's
So
premium member, right? On
no, not
LinkedIn.
at all. No, LinkedIn free. Yeah. Oh, well, they'll show you if you have the free, they'll show you a couple people. But if you want the full, yeah, you got to sign up for the premium if you want the full. But those are hot leads. So for me, it's like, well, geez, if you're looking at my profile and you're checking things out, And it gives you that notification when they do it. So it's like, oh my God, you want to reach out. My rule is like, if people are doing something, reach out as soon as you can, because you got them right there while they're thinking about it and they're right there in that moment. Later, it kind of dies down and life kicks back in. So it's good if you can see and then reach out. So yeah, the premium would allow you to do that really quickly. Whereas if it's just the free version, it usually gives you one name or maybe two, and then they're like, if you want to see the rest, right? But yeah, and then on Facebook you don't get that, but on Facebook, you can see if people interact with your stories a little bit, like if they like it or comment or something like that. It's a little bit more challenging. So I would focus on what you are able to see and what you are able to track. Does that make sense? So maybe you won't focus on like, did someone see this video or post? But maybe you can pay attention to people that you can see that they're interacting and they're doing something. That's what I would do. Yeah, notice on LinkedIn, the people that are engaging are people who want to sell to me. That can happen. I am pretty good at flipping it, right? So because let's be honest, we're all here to sell our stuff and like make a difference and help people and solve problems. We're all here. So there's no shame in the game. But yes, a lot of times people will approach you to try to sell you. And I like to be a leader. So I will transition and I will flip that. And I'll turn it right back around to like, what is a really fun project you're working on this quarter? What is a sales goal that you're hoping to attain this week? Like I'll just flip it and ask them back a question to get control of that conversation, and I'll flip it right back. Sometimes they lean right into it. Other times they're definitely just pitching. We'll move those to the side. And this is where I say, like, you really want to work that buyer's list strategically, and the people that you're giving your time and energy to, wipe people out real fast to the side if you feel like they're not someone that you can start to conversate with and move forward. Focus on those people that you're able to do that with, right? So it just comes down to really like working that list and working your leads more intentionally, and using your time to like know that. Remember we talked about a brain picker versus like a buyer yesterday. Sometimes the brain picker happens to be someone trying to sell to you. So we just have to like, is this someone I want to give time and energy to today? Because when we say yes to one thing, we're saying no to another, right? We don't want to say yes to someone who's just picking our brain and wants to sell, when there's someone over here that's like, I'm a buyer. If you talk to me, if we can communicate and build some trust, I will pay you. I will work with you, right? Yeah, really good question. So for anyone that's like, I can't track that or see that, like if you just have limitations, focus on what you can. There's plenty and plenty of things that we can all see very visibly that we should just like, let's double in on that and double down on focusing on that instead. I'm going to drop a link here. It is a link where you have to download a copy. So when you click it, it's going to pop up and say download a copy of this. You can just download the copy. Okay. But when you open it up, I'll share my screen. It should look like this. It's called Prep Your Power Hour. And it's just a couple pages. This isn't overwhelming at all. That's what you guys should see when you open or download a copy of that. Okay. And that's just going to be helpful for you guys to get an idea of like, what do we do during that power hour? Okay. Like how to really spend that time, and just kind of think of everything we've talked about this week. Because what I want you to know is I just taught you a full circle system, meaning that one thing leads to the next and they all work together, right? Your buyer's list with your daily activities and the structure in which you, cycle through to how you're using your time. All three of those go together. And when you run them like a machine and you run them Monday through Friday, day in, day out, and you blindfolders, don't worry about what's going on around you. Focus on this. It's going to spit money out into your bank, right? It's a machine. It works if you work it. And it does require putting on blindfolders and not falling into what is distracting you and what you normally would do and what's comfortable and what's familiar. It's like, let's just give this everything we've got, right? And that's what's going to make the money. That's going to produce the sales. In the Sales Accelerator, you guys, we will help you with this. there's going to be nuances as you implement. You're going to get in conversations with people and be like, I don't know what I should say. What's the right, best next thing to say? So I don't lose this. I'll crush it. I don't want to kill it. I really want to learn how to communicate in a way that's going to empower someone to make a buying decision and trust that I can help them and I'm the person that can solve this without going into this convince and improve it mode. How do we say that and move them over pretty quickly, right? Those nuances and those massaging those touch points like that, we're going to help you do that in the program. So we're not just giving you the system and being like, good luck, have fun. We're going to help you guys with all the nuances that are going to come with this. And we're going to help personalize things so it's set up for you. We've got a couple calls a month. So you guys are not alone over here, right? Like, and literally we're having you guys do sales activities and sprints, same ones that are making tens of thousands for our clients in like a week or two. We're going to pull those down into this program and do those once a month with you guys every month. Like, and then there's a call with me every month as well. And we get stuff like this, and we get to talk about what you're doing and tweak it. I would say this. How about you try to say that? Let's follow up with the lead and say this. There's a whole bunch of that. So you're not alone in trying to say, I understand the concept, but how do you actually do the day to day, right? Like that's what we're going to help you do inside the accelerator. $67 a month, guys. No contract, cancel anytime. If you pay in full, you will get in, which is $597 right now for the year. You will get into our bonus session annual event. We do it on Zoom, and we help you create your entire Black Friday offer. We give you all my emails that work so good, and you tweak them and make them yours, set them in your system, automate that whole process. And while you're having Thanksgiving, you're celebrating the holiday, those invitations are going out. Y'all know Black Friday, everybody's buying stuff. Everyone's looking for a sale and a deal. So it is prime time. Also, it's the end of the year. Everyone wants to make their investments so they can have the write-offs for taxes. So trust me when I tell you, people are buying during that time. And you want to start your Black Friday campaign just like Walmart does, or your cell phone service, just like all the big companies, you want to get that stuff going, right? So we help you set that up as well. And we do that once a year, every year for like 5 years. Clients love it. You'll get access to come join us in that. And the 23rd of this month, whether you pay monthly or pay in full, 23rd of this month, we are doing our event, which is on Zoom. It's like 4 or 5 hours. And we're going to literally just help you get 50 people on your buyers list that are already hot in your audience. We're going to help you find those people, put them on the buyers list, and then we're going to show you how to convert them on that call. So we're going to give you actual word track, and we're going to say this to those people, go. And everyone's going to work as a group. And for 4 or 5 hours, you are selling. You are selling. Beautiful thing is you're getting the practice, you're understanding the concept because you're applying it. You're not just listening, you're doing it. And you're going to make money. Right? We could be mad at that. So definitely, I could drop the link again here for the Sales Accelerator. We will send out replays shortly. We did create an exclusive replay page for you guys. And we'll send that out again today. And then you'll have these replays if you need to go back to them or catch up on anything. Yeah, so if anyone has questions about Sales Accelerator, you can message myself or Sydney. If you're on Facebook or in our Facebook group, Sydney has definitely sent you a message in your DMs, but it might be in that other folder if you guys aren't friends. So double check and look there just in case a message from one of us is in there. And if you're on the email list, we are emailing you as well, the replay, so you can get that there. You guys, this has been amazing. I also just welcome to those of you that have joined the Accelerator. We're happy to have you guys there. Looking forward to the rest of you that will be coming through. I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. I hope you're going to leave here, sign up for Sales Accelerator, and then go do sales activities. We're going to be so excited. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.